The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
Alexis, hi. Thank you very much for your time and opportunity to discuss global and local tourism trends.
Thank you very much, Georgy. I'm very pleased to be here. Tbilisi is a beautiful city, so this conversation will be great, I'm sure.
It is indeed, and I'd like to start our conversation by discussing Accor's business in Georgia. You brought several very interesting, very big influential brands to our country. So first of all, I'd like to ask you, what was the motivation behind that, and if we could also discuss your recent openings in the Georgian market.
Listen, in terms of the openings, we just opened this Swiss hotel, which is probably one of the best in the world. We opened the Pullman not a long time ago. I think it was 2 years ago. We started operating in Georgia in 2015. So it's been 9 years, and today we operate 9 hotels in Tbilisi, all of them in Tbilisi. Why do we operate in Georgia? Listen, I think it's a very easy question. Georgia is a very ancient country, very rich history, very rich cultural heritage, very rich food and beverage specialties. So this is everything that is today needed and requested by international travelers and tourists. And there was no way we would forget about Georgia. So very easy question. It's on one of our most important place for development in this part of the world.
It's very nice to hear, and nine hotels in 9 years is a phenomenal achievement, so congratulations on that. What should we expect for 2024, 2025? What's in the pipeline? Are there any new brands coming to Georgia?
We have new hotels coming to Georgia and probably new brands. I mean, Accor today has more than 40 brands. So you can expect more hotels and more brands coming in. We have for the coming months and coming years, I think more than 15 projects, around 3,000 rooms.
Wow.
to be opened by the next following years. If talking about 24, 25, probably we have Ibis Ortachala coming in. We have Ibis Styles Old Town in Chardin area to be open. It will be the second Ibis Styles that we're opening, and we have many more hotels to open. We also looking at new areas. I mean, we've been developing mostly in Tbilisi today, but there are places where we want to develop, and we will be developing. We're opening our first hotel in Batumi very soon, probably this year, hopefully by June or by the next several weeks. We will be opening also an Ibis at the airport here in Tbilisi. So I mean, plenty of new openings. New brands will probably come in 2025. It will be in Tbilisi. In Batumi, I'm sorry. Handwritten brand is a new brand, very much very much geared at beautiful design, 4 to 5 star hotels. A lot of them are conversion hotels, but in this case it will be a new build because the infrastructure is being built in Georgia, which is good because this will last for the next 50 years easily. So plenty of new openings, plenty of new projects. Mövenpick coming to Kobuleti, I think probably in 2025 as well. You name it. We're waiting for more.
The goals are phenomenal, 15 projects, it's just incredible and very nice to hear. All the brands you mentioned are global brands, but I'd like to ask you if you incorporate some details, some specificities of the Georgian culture, of Georgian heritage within your hotels here in Georgia.
Listen, there are probably brands that are more prone for that than the others. If we talk about Mercure is our local brand. It's a global brand because there's more than 700 hotels worldwide, but it's very much geared at the local design. We always incorporate in Mercure touches of local design. And we always incorporate in Mercure's something with relation to specialty, food and beverage specialties of the region where we operate. So if this is Georgia, of course we incorporate wine specialties. But if this is let's say Armenia, we will incorporate our cognac. We'll incorporate also their food specialties, dolmas, things like that. So this is for Mercure. There are brands that are international, more international, like Novotels, for example, that we, by the way, we just opened in Avlabari. But the more we're opening, the more we operate, and the more we see how the world is changing, we incorporate more and more, especially food and beverage specialties, in each hotel that we open and we operate now.
The tourism industry here in Georgia has been booming in recent years, which is also seen in numbers as well. Last year, 4.1 billion USD was the income of the tourism industry, and more than 7 million people, which is a drastic increase year over year. Do you think that this trend will continue in the future? And if yes, what will be the main motivators or in general of the development of the Georgian tourism industry in the next, let's say, 5 years, for example?
I mean, why did we arrive and start operating in Georgia? Georgia has an enormous potential for tourism. You have the mountains, you have the sea, you have your very old history and culture. You have one of the strongest probably in Europe, food and beverage culture. I mean, these are all trends that are today with the new travelers. This is what they're expecting. They want to discover something. It's not just we coming, we consume and we go and we throw everything. No, this time are going out. Today people are really willing to discover, to get acquainted with the culture, and this is why this trend, this is a very heavy trend in the tourism industry, and this is why Georgia is doing so well, because you have it all here. So we're very confident that this trend will continue. There are challenges, of course, because this requires a very strong, very powerful infrastructure. I'm coming for many years, so I've seen that the airport is changing. Every 2 or 3 years, it's increasing by size. But roads, traffic jams is a little bit of a challenge. Communication between different cities in Georgia is also a little bit a challenge. But overall, and all the infrastructure that goes behind, I mean the sewage, the water, electricity, etc. But I see it's coming. I mean, when we opened 9 years ago, it was a different Georgia than today. So things are evolving into the right direction, and you cannot expect from a country, from a city, from wherever you are, that something is happening overnight. It takes time to build the infrastructure, but once it's built forever, and it will just allow this snowball to roll and to roll faster. The only thing that I would say is that Georgia need to be careful in managing these tourist flows to ensure that it not becomes a mass tourism. Mass tourism sometimes is killing the local specifics. So this is the fine line that the city and the country must not cross, just to keep its specifics.
So what you just said is very interesting. It's a very original thought. So let me ask you that: what niche do you see Georgia occupying within the global tourism ecosystem? So that which direction should it develop? If on one side we have mass tourism, which you would not recommend, so what's on the other side?
Georgia does not have mass tourism today, and it must make sure that it's not doing that, because otherwise it will destroy the cultural heritage, very strong cultural heritage, very strong history, very strong Georgian personality, the food and beverage, the countryside at the end of the day. This is so beautiful, this is why the people are coming. So let's make sure that we keep this in place, beautiful, and that people, when they arrive here, they feel that they are not in any other place but with a different climate.
Yeah,
this is what needs to be kept.
Yeah, to preserve the uniqueness of the country.
Absolutely, this is what makes the country so interesting.
Alexis, so long-term outlook is very nice, and this is demonstrated by your group as well, your committed investments here in Georgia. But quite recently there have been a few socio-political and economic shocks short-term here in Georgia that have been connected to the law passed by the parliament. So we talk a lot to representatives of the tourism industry, both international players and local players, and a lot of them say that because of the law and because of the protests that are happening because of the initiation of this law, a lot of bookings have been cancelled, and guests, tourists, they are asking questions whether Georgia is safe to travel, whether they should come or whether they should postpone their visit. Have you seen this declining trend within your group? And in general, do you think that such short-term fluctuations could cause harm to the Georgian tourism industry?
Listen, first of all our hotels are continuing operating. So this is the first thing. The second thing is, once again, I mean, we're operating in this country since 2015. You know better than me that there's been fluctuation already in this country since 2015. So long term, there's absolutely no problem. It will not impact tourism or the image of Georgia at all, in my opinion. There might be short impact. Some hotels doing less good than the others. One, of course, when you're in Rustaveli, you probably are impacted more than if your hotel is next to the stadium or our Mercure there. So no major impact for us. Small impacts for some hotels, but in the long term, absolutely no risk of impacting the trend that we discussed just a few minutes ago.
All right, let's discuss other challenges and other trends that exist in Georgia and globally as well. Last few years were just to say it simply quite crazy, because we had pandemic first, during which basically the travel was suspended, hotels did not work so well, people changed their attitude towards tourism. After that, we've seen an uprising in everything, in flights, in bookings, tourism. But then again, pandemic changed mindset of people. Now we're experiencing another boom, which is connected to artificial intelligence, and this could be seen basically everywhere. AI entered our daily lives, and this could be seen in market cap of the biggest tech companies, which have been surging beyond crazy limits. What are some of the challenges that you see today on the global scale within the hospitality industry?
Well, this is a very complicated question. I'm not sure of the challenges, but let's speak of what Accor is thinking of that. We believe artificial intelligence can help us interact in a better way with our customers in terms of offering them hotels that will fit their expectation or their patterns of travel. This will help us interact with our customers in terms of relationship management, in terms of how we listen to them and how we can implement their idea or their comments into our day-to-day operations, into our design of the hotel, into the expectation, the expectation of the guests can be translated into some of our operational policies. For example, when we talk about food waste, for example, when we talk about CSR initiatives, when we're talking about how we manage our air conditioning systems in the rooms. There are plenty of things that can be used by us when it comes to collecting information and feedback from our guests. And artificial intelligence probably can help us doing this.
How did the feedback of customers, their demands, their requirements change over the last couple of years?
I mean, if we go much back in the years, when I started in the hotel industry, there were no safe in the rooms. Today, it's not even a question. But then came Wi-Fi, then came color TV. I mean, there are plenty of things that are changing every day. But today there are trends that are very strong with relation to our customer, is their expectation in terms of corporate social responsibility. And this is, from what we know, there's over 70% of our guest customers that are concerned by this question. So it's a major trend. It's a very heavy direction that we need to tackle, and we're tackling. I mean, for example, we're very much trying to convert hotels into hotels of our brand. Why? Because there's no need to build a new hotel. There's no need to take land from the city or from anywhere. Infrastructure is already existing, so there's less impact when you're transforming a hotel from one brand to another rather than building it from scratch. And this is why we have some of our brands that are geared to that. Handwritten, theoretically, is a conversion brand. Mercure is very much a conversion brand. We have even created a brand that is called Grit, that is built on conversion and using second-hand material to fit into the hotel. There are also things that we are doing in terms of eliminating 50 different elements of plastic in our hotels. Plastic bottles, plastic shower bottles, things like that. We have eliminated 50 individual items of plastic from all our hotels. We're getting certification. All our Mövenpick hotels are 100% certified. So there are plenty of things that are being done in order to address the expectation of our guests. These are only examples, but I can spend hours in talking about that.
What does the future look like for the global and here local Georgian tourism industry, and how do you think Accor could incorporate new emerging technologies to increase effectiveness of management and ultimately increase the revenue and profitability of the group as well?
I mean, we discuss artificial intelligence in terms of how we interact with the customers. Artificial intelligence could help us better manage our rates and our inventory into the hotel, making them more efficient. But the future of tourism is a bright future in the world. I mean, up to before the COVID, the tourism industry was growing 10% per year. It's one of the best and highest growth in the industry, in all the industries around the world. People are getting, I wouldn't say richer and richer, but the middle class in the world is growing. It's growing in China, it's growing in Africa, it's growing in India. So all these people that are becoming self-sufficient, they went out of poverty. One of the first things they're trying to do, they're trying to discover the world. So there is a huge potential to grow this industry. I think Georgia can very much gain from that, and I can see this once again by these last years. The average customers in Georgia has changed a lot. Georgia is also attracting people that were not on the market 10 years ago. I'm talking about the Middle East. But I also see more and more people coming from India. So this is a blessed industry. This is what is saying our CEO, but he's completely right, because the demand is growing. But the demand is growing, and at the same time it's changing. The expectation, for example, from the customers, we discussed this again a few minutes ago with relation to our CSR policies and expectation in terms of food waste. This is also a very important thing that our customers are expecting, that the food that is served is not wasted, because this is a cost, but this has also an impact on the global globe, because you need to grow more food in order to sustain this.
Alexis, good luck to you and your team, and thank you very much for the interview. We for sure will be talking soon once again, because opening 15 hotels, and we as Business Media Georgia, we're always there to cover investments, new, especially investments coming from the western part of the world, because we are very much interested in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Georgy. More than happy to meet with you upon our next 15 openings.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.